Greetings, YouTubers! Welcome back to the Inside Neverwinter podcast, the only Neverwinter exclusive podcast. It is Saturday, December 7th, 2013, and I'm your host, DJTakuya. JDog is out this week, unfortunately. He's unable to make it due to some personal constraints there, but if he's able to get online before the end of the show, we'll patch him in on a Skype call there so we can get in on this business. But as it stands now, it looks like I'm going to be solo in this mother, so expect a lot of me rambling, because that's what I do when I don't have JDog here to stop me. I've got some music problems, so pardon those here real quick. Tried it, just won't fix, so they're it's gonna stop every second, so don't mind it. So welcome to the podcast. If you're not familiar, every week we talk about the state of the game, the way things are currently in the game, any recent changes that affected it, how it changed. Then we talk about the news from the Enclave, the latest news in the world of Neverwinter, all the patches, all the changes, every little thing that's coming to the game we talk about. Lastly, before we close the show out, we have a new feature today, a new segment called Featured Foundry. So we'll talk about a Foundry quest, and we'll tell you all the details on how to find it and why you should play it and give it a try. And without any further ado, we're just going to hop right into the state of the game evaluation today. This week's state of the game is without much change from last week. So what we've got is a lot of extra progress, and I think now that we're getting into the heart of it, we're progressing in Sharandar a lot farther now. So I think most people are about at the time in their progress of the new Sharandar campaign, where they're in the second quest hub in the Dark Vein Enclave. They're either midway through it, meaning they've either done enough days that are about halfway through with that portion of their progress in the campaign, or they're about finished with it, meaning they're right there. So it's been so long, and if people are doing it every day, that's about the point they'd be at. Of course, if you've just got a character to 60, or if you just came back from vacation with the game, like you just got your internet back and decided to try it, you're probably going to be a little bit behind in that, but not to worry. So that's about where most people are, I would think. It's where I am, because I'm about 4 or 5 days into the second area, where I need to keep doing it to get the next step and the thing unlocked. You just got to do this one thing where you have all 3 rewards from the daily quests there. There's little icons. I think they're Fey icons, and you spend them along with, I think, some sparks, some Feywild sparks, in order to reinforce some defenses, some Feywild defenses. And that's just a tiered way of making you go back to that area about 9 times, which as dailies go, 9 times isn't that bad. You have some situations in other games where 9 days is about half as much as you need to do, or less. I remember some daily progression in, I hate to blast them, but in Warcraft Mists of Pandaria, had some 21-day things. Same in Cataclysm, Wrath of the Lich King. It was just some daily stuff that they, when they introduced it, that it would take about 21 days to get through it all. I remember specifically Molten Front dailies in 4.2 back in World of Warcraft. When Firelands came out, they also released the Molten Front daily area, and it was kind of the same thing. You progress in the area and you come back and do quests, but that was a lot more tedious, that is. So every day, the Sharandar campaign, the quest that you do out there in New Sharandar, they yield the best rewards only if you do the second area, or at least do that second area first. And by which I mean, currently, we've got 2 zones open if you've been doing it almost every day, which I think all of us have. I missed a couple days, I'm sure, and I know some people have probably are probably working their way up still. But I think you get the best rewards if you only do the second area, or if you at least do it first. And the reason I say that is because once you're done with the quests, you've earned certain crescents, and you've earned those icons that I talked about. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but you earn your rewards instead of gear or anything, and you spend them in the campaign window to upgrade your stuff, to buy new boons and things. And it seems like the best rewards, the most relevant rewards you're gonna get, come from they come from the Dark Fey place. And if you're accruing extra seedlings, some vibrant seedlings, they might go to waste. So I don't want anybody to waste their effort. But if you're enjoying it, I'd say do it, because some of them reward money, some of it rewards crescents, and it's all currency. So in a game like Neverwinter, where currency is almost king, you definitely want to have the most of it if you enjoy that type of thing. Basically, if you're a min-maxer, like I am, if you min-max your efforts, I would do only the second area. If you have more time that you want to spend out there, do the first one too, because there's some minimal rewards to get from it. So if you're a min-maxer, do that. If you just prefer to do what you prefer to do, play it how you want to play it. It's an MMO that has the freedom for you to pick your method of play. Since the other reason I kind of lean toward that decision is because since you get a free key to only do one of the dungeon crawls, I think the Witch Fen is the better choice in terms of tiered rewards. And so the way that'll work is I went and did it this week, just test it out and just throw caution to the wind and see what would happen, because I wasn't sure exactly how everything worked. I went out to the first area with a friend and did dailies with her, and we cleared everything out and went and did the first dungeon. Now, if you're not familiar, at the end of each quest, you pick up 3 quests, you go and do them all on the zone, you come back, turn them in, and the first elf who gives you a quest will give you a follow-up quest that tells you to go investigate this dungeon crawl. And this dungeon crawl in the Grove area, the Fey Grove, is a dungeon crawl to, it's called the Gnarl Root Caves. And you just go through and you kill a bunch of red caps and some trolls, and you get to this red cap boss who'll summon ads, but mostly your priority is kill him, and the ads are almost secondary, especially if you've got a DPS with you. If you've got a couple of guardian fighters or something like that, you may have a little trouble. But once you're done with that and you've killed the boss, this chest unlocks, it becomes available for you to unlock, to loot with a certain key. I think it's called the Dark Fey key, and that key is rewarded at the entrance of that Gnarl Root Caves dungeon crawl by this little leprechaun guy. He's standing there and gives you one free every day. So you get a free key every day to run one of these. And the other one in the Fey Enclave, the Dark Fey Enclave, is the Witch Fen, and it's about the same thing. You kill trolls, and then you also fight these giant Fey witches, who you see more of in the area, in the quest area. So it's kind of like a build up to, you learn some of the enemies in the quest area, and then you go to the dungeon crawl. And the dungeon crawl is not really hard. You can solo it, but it's much faster to take other people along. You know, more DPS is win. You know, you burn them faster. So if you go and do both of them in a day, you can get a second key, but it costs you 5,000 astral diamonds, 1 gold piece, and I think like 20 golden crescents. And since gold crescents are a currency in the new campaign, I don't advise spending them. So if you're looking at maximum rewards, you might be slowing down your progression in the campaign as far as the boons you're access to and the zone and the areas you're able to access. But that might be moot. You might have a better way of accruing the crescents than I do. As I can stand, there's a couple ways to earn the crescents, which is through questing. The quests naturally give some. You can also purchase them from the vendors, because the red caps, or the enemies in the Sharandar area, drop these Fomorian concoctions. And they're little rad vials, and they basically just, they're like the bounty item for this area. So you go and take it to the bounty master of New Sharandar, and he'll give you, for 5 of those things, he'll give you 1 golden crescent, or for 15, he'll give you like I think it's a red cap slaying potion to just make you deal more damage to enemies in the area. Or for about 40, you can open a treasure cache, which would have either a blue item or a piece of, or an item that's exclusive to New Sharandar. And there's one more thing you can buy with it. I can't remember what it is. It's in the middle range of expense. But the cheapest thing is for 5 Fomorian concoction, you can get 1 crescent. So that's one extra way to get it. So if you're out feeling up there to farming it, that's the best way. But if you're like me, where you spend the least amount of time doing your tasks as possible, you know, you kind of get what you need to get done to progress done in order to, I almost say chores, but you know, it's only a chore if you let it be. You can't get repetitive if you let it get boring, but the key is just honing the skill. For me, you just get more efficient and faster at it. So that's my fun, is getting better at it. So those are for me the best ways, but they're not necessarily the fastest ways or the only way. So if you're in Sharandar and you're wondering how to do things, here's my recommended route. If you've already unlocked, we'll start from the beginning. If you haven't done anything yet, and you go in, there's some quest chains that introduce you to the area. You know, you'll go through, you'll earn a little bit, and then they'll introduce you to the New Sharandar portals area, where you take the different portals to different areas. And then once you've done that, you immediately have access to the first area, which is that red cap type grove place. It's called the Grove. I can't remember what it is, but it's the Grove. But it's where all the red caps and stuff hang out. Most of the enemies are red caps or giant trolls. So That's your first area, and if you're just starting, you'll do those quests just like, and then it takes maybe 30 minutes at the longest if you're really being slow about it, and um, you'll do the quest, and then you'll do the dungeon crawl again, like 30 minutes if you're being slow. So overall, an hour at the longest, and so you'll do that like 3 or 4 times, and each time you do it, you'll notice there's more and more stuff opening up, and as soon as you get enough materials to open up the next area, the Dark Fey Enclave, you'll also get access. You'll also have 2 different boons that you can buy. I'll let you see what they are and what they can do for you, but you can pick whatever's best for your class, whatever you need more in your gearing, because they're basically just free stats. That's what these boons are. And then once you've done that, you've also got access to the Malabox Castle key on the left, which takes about 50k astral diamonds, about 30 or so crescents, a whole bunch of materials that it becomes a resource management thing. And if you do that, it gives you access to Malabox Castle, which is a 5-man. Haven't had a chance to run it yet, but I do have the key, so I'm going to do that this week and tell you all about what I got there. Because JDog's done it, but he's not here this week to tell us any about it. And unfortunately, that's where we miss out a little bit. But we miss him. We hope he'll come back. He'll be come back in time for the end of the show. I'm hoping he'll come in right in a minute, right in the midway point, so we can kind of work him in. But anyhow. So that's and then that's Malabox Castle to the left there if you're looking at the actual campaign screen. And then you kind of progress and you do more and more tasks, and then you'll get to the point, once you've opened up the second area, the point where you need to do this one particular task in the middle pane for about 3 times, about 9 times, which basically like 9 days of dailies, in order to progress. And then you basically work your way up until the very last, and then it's going to open up the last area. It's going to give you the access to the best boons, the best rewards, and that's the reason you do it, is because you're going to get really good stuff at the end for free. So it's just putting a little effort over time, over a long period of time to get a big reward for almost nothing. Because really the dailies are cheese. They're easy as pie. So so the best way to go about it is to do the least amount of work possible for the most reward. So once you've opened the second area, the recommended way is to just do that area. Go through it, get all the rewards from it, do the Witch Fen with the free key, and hope you get purple. For me, I got a purple like the second time I ever ran it. Ran Witch Fen, so it was pretty cool getting that purple helm, the ancient Ilian Brun helm. Way better than what I had, which is a blue. And so JDog was jealous. We're running that together that day, and it was the weirdest thing. He said, "I really hope that purple's in this chest. It's a helm that comes out." And he goes, "I can't loot it. You loot it first." So I went and looted the chest with my free key, and I was going, "No way!" And I almost wanted to pull his leg. I was tempted to, but lo and behold, it was a purple helm, an epic helm, very first epic helm for this character, and it's sitting in that chest. So that's why I recommend it. It's because it's got the next tier up of rewards and they're purple. Of course, there's some purple you can get from the other one, but from my experience, that seems like a better deal. So that's why I say to go through this second area. It doesn't make you go back and do the old stuff again, rather than it is kind of like the first one's kind of an introduction to how it works, and then you move on. And it seems like this is where you're going to spend more and more time to kind of build you up, because I'm pretty sure the very last area is going to have us there for quite a little while. And then at the end, there's some stuff to do that requires currencies, like from finishing the quest from all 3 places. So you will eventually go back, but I would, if I were you, I would do things as they come. I've got some stuff saved away, but if I need to do some more stuff later, I will. You never quite know what you're going to have to do in a situation in situations like this with dailies. You just know what you already have done, and so that's sometimes the easiest thing to do, is to wait till later. You kind of put it off. So that appeals to the procrastinator in me, to kind of be lazy and just go, well, I'll deal with it if I have to. Burn that bridge when I come to it. So that's the state of the game as I see it. It seems like we've got a really good system in place for our dailies. I think this is a good precedent to set going forward, because I don't mind this. This is a pretty good game because you log in every day. It's like an MMO. It keeps you logging in. So you're already logging in every day for your professions and your stuff and your invoking, because you don't want to lose progress on that. You don't want to lose your celestial coins, and so you do. And it doesn't take too long. You can do it every day if you just have a little bit of time. Pardon me, I had to take a drink. I think this is a good thing. I think the game's in a good place, just like we said last week. It's only getting better, I think. I think some of the problems that we did have, that we'll get to, I think, I'll talk about those here in just a minute, and news from the Enclave. I think some of the problems we have been having, they're slowly getting fixed. So I think Cryptic's making some good moves here. Of course, they made some fumbles, like with the Nightmare Mount Lockbox fiasco. particularly with not issuing a rollback, not issuing changes, not fixing anything basically. They just kind of let that one go. But all that really did was hurt us as a player base. But I don't want to give the impression that I'm letting Cryptic off easy. I've seen how bad it is, how bad it can be in other games, and I've seen how bad Cryptic is done. But overall, I don't see that happening everywhere. It seems like just one screw up. So that's really all I can speak for, is how I see it. So if you want to chime in, feel free. I'm always willing to take some viewer feedback on the show, read your comments back. If you want to give us something to chime in on that one, we'll put kind of an editorial section in right after Featured Foundry every week. That's what we might do if we get any feedback. So if you want to be heard, that's how to do it. Just drop us a line or comment on our podcast videos. We'll get you in and we'll read your comments aloud. We'll address whatever you want to talk about. All right, so moving on to news from the Enclave. Not a whole lot of news this week, but there was a small patch you might not have even noticed downloading on Thursday. It addressed some minor class changes as well as a few UI bugs. A few did slip through the cracks. It fixed a lot of things. There were quite a few things on the list. You can read those full patch notes. I'm going to put a link to those in the description. First link in the description, and then the some of the stuff that has been changed are UI changes, things that weren't working properly or that seemed kind of weird, like a phrasing on an announcement for getting an errant Nia. They got that fixed, as well as some minor fixes for pretty much everything in the game. Just like I used to see all the time, except this stuff probably wouldn't be so detailed in other games. They probably wouldn't even tell us what all they're fixed. They'd just say, hey, we fixed some stuff. Or maybe they would, and I just don't ever notice it. But I never really noticed that in other games. Never seen that kind of attention to detail in other games as far as patch notes given to what they changed. So there were some minor changes for some minor class balances, some UI, and quest environments. There were some bugs with quest environment sound and graphics that were messed up, so they got those fixed. But one of the things that slipped through the cracks I know has been around for a while is an incorrect title on array professions, tasks, and platesmithing that remains through all these fixes, but it seems to be of little consequence. I mean, the items still should be working. So I think they're probably prioritizing that low. If I were them, I would prioritize the stuff that works right but just looks under the stuff that looks wrong and doesn't work right. Makes sense. For me, it's function over appearance. We also this week got some new items in the Zen Market. When I say we, I mean Cryptic added some new things you can buy on the Zen Market. One of them being the Dusk unit amount that goes increases your movement speed by 110%. And as far as I can tell, that is the fastest mount available. I think outside of the lockbox, maybe even with lockbox included. But I know it's the fastest mount you can buy, and I know it's the most expensive mount you can buy. It's $40, 4,000 Zen. 4,000 Zen. The other thing we've got this week for purchase on the Zen Market is the Moonshadow Die Pack, and that's just a gray and black. And again, I'll put a link in here so you can see the Dusk Unicorn mount in action there, a picture of it that they posted for, what do you call it, public relation. Just kind of give you an idea what it's supposed to look like, along with what that die looks like when you dye different gear with it. So I'll post you a link for that. That's the second link in the description of how to see what that all looks like and what it's all about. So with all that news out of the way, it looks like we'll move straight into our Featured Foundry of the week. Now, our Featured Foundry, this is our first ever Featured Foundry. We had kind of a preview last week. This week's Featured Foundry is our premiere. I decided to go with one I discovered this week. I think right after the show, like the very next day, I discovered this one and played through it. It was quite interesting. It's called Ravenloft. It's by the user at Apocris at 980. So that's at APOCRS 980. And I'll spell that out in the description for you so you can read that and search in game for it. But it's split into two chapters currently. It looks to be a campaign. This person's split into two chapters currently. The first one, Journey to Barovia, is the one I played through, and it was quite interesting. It takes you to the realm of Ravenloft, either whether that's something in lore or something this person made up. I'm not sure. I'm not that well versed in D&D lore. But it takes you to the realm of Ravenloft and plunges you into a story that feels very real. The enemy you make there and the people you're defending feel true to life, kind of like how Walking Dead feels, like what we'd really be like if the world ended, at least for me. But that's kind of the impression you're supposed to get. You've got to play it to really know, but it's daily qualified, and it's well worth the 30 minutes to play through the first chapter. I really enjoyed Chapter 1. because it's very well made. You can tell. Of course, it's custom. Everything was put to great detail. You see everything kind of by item. You get neat little foreshadowing. You'll notice stuff that kind of ties in. It doesn't necessarily tie in as much as it. Sorry, I'm struggling for words here. You'll see things that kind of reveal a little bit about the world, and if you're paying attention, you pick up these notions of this world is a little different. This realm is way different from Neverwinter. This isn't a world full of adventures. This is a world for regular people, few of whom have the strength to stand up to this villain. So the enemy, the main enemy that you make there is very I won't say scary, but he's very evil. You see the evil, you sense the evil, you know the kind of vicious, cruel person that he is. He's very, very easy to hate. A very good villain. You always need a good villain to contrast the hero. So by contrast, you look awesome as the hero of the Foundry mission. It's only about 30 minutes to play through the first mission. It takes about 40 or so minutes on average to get through the second one. I'm reading off the average times, the average durations, so that's probably a good measurement, because there are those of us who like to spin and those of us who like to take our time and look at everything. It's probably a good measurement, about 40 minutes on average. So, pardon me there. Foundry, the Ravenloft campaign by @Apocris980. Chapter 1, Journey to Barovia, is the entry. Chapter 2, Ill Fortunes, is also up. I've got to play that this week. I'll leave that to you to decide how you like it. Looks like we have covered all of our content this week. I think that's going to be it for us this week. I think we've done it. We've got another episode in the can there. And outro music, if it'll play, is copyright of Cryptic Studios and Perfect World Entertainment. We don't own it. It's part of the Neverwinter game. If you're interested, I'm currently working on a Let's Play on YouTube of a game called Attack on Titan. If you're not familiar with it, I've got a tips and tricks video up and then 2 follow-up videos to kind of show you how it's going. And I'm going for all 32 Titans killed. So once you get in there and see that, you'll know what that means. I'll keep you updated on my progress on my channel. That's youtube.com/DJTakuya, DJTakuya. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, chances are you're watching it on my channel. So just look around and that's where it'll be. So, looks like we made it without JDog at the end of here. He didn't hop in, so unfortunately he didn't make it this week, but that's okay. We'll get him in next week. We'll see him in 7 days, next Sunday for y'all. And that's going to be it for us this week, for me and for JDog. Tune in next week on Sunday morning for another episode of Inside Neverwinter. Safe travels until then, Neverwinters.